Archana ma'am, are you speaking?
Yes, ma'am. So, sir, welcome you, sir, for the session. And sir, your, I just want to give a brief introduction about Anmol, sir. Mr. Anmol Garg is the CEO of Algofin Technologies, an engineer graduate passed out in 2013 from GL Bajaj, the Greater Noida. Anmol sir comes with a huge experience on leveraging the potential of digital medium, and his company has clients in e-commerce, medical, and tourism sector, and he helps companies in optimizing their digital spends while maximizing their return on investment. And he loves to train people. He has trained 100 plus students from Jammu and Kashmir under the project Udan, delivered more than 20 workshops and seminars on web designing, development, blogging, and digital marketing. Anmol sir has hands-on experience of modern digital trends and is an engaging orator to pass on his skill set to his audience, and he never fails to deliver. Yes, Anmol sir, thank you so much for spending your valuable time, sir. I welcome you, sir. And the
Thank
session
you,
is
ma'am. Thanks a lot. The
yours.
pleasure is all mine.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So, should I start?
So you can start sharing your screen, sir. I'm
Okay,
stopping. You can
perfect.
start
Perfect.
sharing your screen.
So, is my screen visible right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Hello, hi. Good morning, everyone. So, myself, Anmol, I welcome you all in this particular guest lecture. First of all, thanks a lot, everyone who have made this possible that I'm present to you guys on this particular day to give you a guest lecture. One, um, let's make it friendly. That I will not be keeping it that much formal. So I will be first. I will be talking about my journey. Then second, I will be talking about basics of the business or basics of the entrepreneurship, right? And in third and last phase, we will be taking it to the question and answer session. So wherein you can ask whatever questions you are having. That is how we are going to take it forward from here, right? So should I begin, ma'am?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Proceed.
perfect, perfect. So first,
Yes.
as ma'am have mentioned that myself, Anmol, I have done my BTech in 2013 from GL Bajaj Great Noida. After that, I have like started up my own journey. So this is a quick snapshot of mine. I have done researches into mathematics and awarded as Young Scientist Award in 2009. Then after that, I have done BTech IT major from GL Bajaj Great Noida, and I passed out the college in 2013. While I was in college, I and my friends we founded two unique startups. One was How URL, and the second one was Expert Hippo. So basically, How URL was more like Bitly. You see Bitly, that is a basically URL shortener the people are using. So back in those particular days, we started How URL. So How URL was basically inspired from Bitly, and during its lifespan, it have touched more than 10 million impressions over the web. Then next we started Expert Hippo. So Expert Hippo was nothing but basically we were selling books over the e-commerce website. So we actually built one of our e-commerce website. It was built over Magento. Magento is a platform where we build e-commerce websites. So it was built over Magento, and we were sourcing books from Delhi, and we were like selling books out to all over India, right? So do let me know like if I'm sounding too fast or if I'm sounding too slow so that I can adjust my pitch. Is my pitch perfect or like I need to adjust my pitch a little bit?
Sir, it's breaking a bit, sir.
It's breaking a bit. I think that might be due to the network impact.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Now it's perfect, sir.
Okay. So basically, while I was doing expert hippo, then a friend came to me with an idea to help him up into his company in terms of IT services. So that's when I basically jumped into IT services, and we have established our IT services firm. So right now we are providing services to clientele of all size. Mostly we are having SMEs as our clients, then we have travel companies as our clients, then we have hospitals as our clients. So we are working into different domains right now, like all over the globe. We do have clientele into 13 countries right now, as I speak. So I will be basically getting you guys along on the how you can basically look at the idea, one. Then second is basically how you can develop the idea, how you can take the idea to the market, how you can test it, and then how you can scale it up, right? So that is where our most of the lecture will be focused on. Is that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect, ma'am. Ma'am, is there any way that we can make this particular session interactive between me and the students?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. You just whoever the students want to respond, ma, you just please raise your hands. I will unmute you. Okay, so that
Uh,
you can have it.
Sure, ma'am, sure. So if any one of you have any query at any moment of time during this particular lecture, please do feel free to ask, because this is your learning phase. Whatever question you want to ask, feel free to ask, right?
Yes, my students. Whoever have any queries regarding this, you all can unmute, ma. Okay.
Okay.
You
Uh,
please raise your hand. I'll make you. I'll unmute you. Okay.
okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Proceed.
we are starting basically basics of business or basics of entrepreneurship. That how you can basically get onto the an entrepreneurship vehicle, and then you can start your own venture. Okay, so the first phase is basically starting up is having an idea, right? How you look at an idea. So what would I suggest is most of the people normally jump around the ideas. They want to do something different. Okay. Do not do something different. That all is bullshit. What I would suggest you is look at the problems around you. Right? Look at the problems around you. Basically, look at the problems that people are facing into day-to-day life. Try to find a solution to those particular problems while putting tag to it, while putting your managerial experience to it. Try to find out a solution that what better solution you can build around those particular problems, right? And once you solve the problem of the users, people are ready to pay money for that particular solution. So basically, making money out of a problem is very easy nowadays. You look at the startup ideas around you, right? You look at Nika. Nika is recently been IPO'd. So basically, Nika have worked onto a very simple problem that ladies cosmetics, or let's say cosmetic in general in India, if you go to the market, you will find duplicate cosmetics everywhere, right? So Nika had started this particular thing, wherein you just go to Nika, you buy something, you will get authentic cosmetic gets delivered to your home, right? So basically look at the small problems, and those small problems are going to give you your next $1 billion idea. That is what my suggestion to you. Do not look at different things. Do not look at, okay, we need to do something like we need to go and build a rocket science thing. No, take a small idea, put your implementation behind it, put a team behind it, and your idea will fly like a rocket. Simple, right? Keep it simple. Okay. But in your very starting phase, while you are starting up the whole thing, build an A team where if you're hiring people, make sure that you put your focus on hiring good people. Good people, those who are having good skill set, right? Trust people easily, hire them fast, but make sure whoever is not performing in that particular circle, give them some time and then fire them fast, right? Because a startup works like that. You hire people fast, you fire people fast, and then you basically find a team which is balancing with you, right? Because pace of building a startup is very fast. You will be doing probably 10 things in a day, or you may be doing 12 things in a day, god knows, because startups are not very structured. There are two things. One is company, one is a startup. So startups are not very structured in terms of operation, in terms of their thinking, in terms of their planning. So what I'm suggesting you guys is, while you are starting up something, make sure that you hire people fast and you fire. While making the firing decision, make sure that you are not thinking from your heart, you are thinking from your mind. Whoever is good for your company, keep them into your company. Whoever is not good for your company, fire them up. Simple. Is my voice audible to you guys, or like it is still cracking?
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible. You are clear, sir.
Okay, perfect. So
And
this is
excuse me, sir. Rohit has raised his hand. Like
sure, sure.
Rohit.
Hello, hi Rohit. Do you have any question?
No, sir. No. Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is how you basically start a startup, right? You first find an idea, you build a solution around that particular problem, and then you basically figure out that how we can make money out of it. Then you put a team together, and then you basically put a strategy that okay, we are going to hire people fast, but we are going to fire people first, and that's how you get your balancing team. That's how you get your A team, right? That is very much important while you are doing a startup. Okay, so now you have the idea, you have the team, you have the strategy in place, you know how you're going to make money. What's the next part? The next part is building an MVP, right? What is MVP? MVP is basically minimum viable product. And what does we mean when we say MVP, right? So MVP is basically the minimal version of your product. So let's say the Flipkart website that you see today was not the Flipkart website when it was launched. When it was launched, it was basically a web page, right? So that particular web page over the time have got into a full frame website. So what I'm trying to say, build a minimum viable product of your idea, because minimum viable product will be saving you time plus will be saving you cost. You save these particular two things, take your idea to the market, test it up, find first of your 10 paying customers. I repeat, find first 10 paying customers, because that is what really important. That is what that will make you realize whether our solution is required for the masses or not, right? If you do not find, or if you can't find 10 people those who are ready to pay for your solution, then particular you need to rethink about your idea. If there are 10 people, those are readily available to pay for your solution, then basically you have gotten the product market fit. And make sure that these first 10 customers are not your relatives, are not your friends, and are not your family, right? So you need to find first 10 customers beyond the family, friend, and relative cycle. So those first 10 customers are going to teach you so much about your idea, about your implementation, about your thinking, that that particular knowledge that you are going to get while implementing your idea with these 10 people is basically immeasurable in terms of its impact, right? The last thing into this is basically keep on testing, where basically keep on improvising your idea on the basis of feedback that you are getting from these particular 10 customers. And make sure while doing that, make sure that you do not have to take the consideration of each and every customer into consideration while building the things. You need to quantify. You need to quantify. Let's say you are having a login functionality over your website, right? And out of 10, 4 people say to you that, hey, why don't you provide Google login functionality onto your website? So that means 40% of the people are asking for a certain function. That means you should go ahead and build it. If you are going to build a solution for like each and every one of these 10 people, then you will be having a different product at the end of the day. So what I am suggesting you guys is quantify those particular number. If the asking rate is more than 30 to 40%, then you should build it. If the asking rate is below 30%, then you should avoid it, right? Next is basically do not over plan. So most of the startup founders, what they do is they have an idea. In terms of making it perfect, they keep on overthinking, they keep on over planning, they keep on putting together the data. So basically, they do whole lot of over planning, and that over planning basically ruins the whole idea of starting up. So basically, you may find friends somewhere those who say, hey, I was thinking about the same idea, and that particular company have got the funding on the same idea which I was previously thinking. So basically, what I'm suggesting you guys is do not over plan, right? Build things those do not scale. So what does this particular thing means is that to do things manually in the very beginning, and then later on start automating them. If you like try to automate each and everything from the starting itself, then you are basically overcommitting yourself. You are basically putting in more money, plus you will be putting in more resources, more time while building that particular idea. So I would suggest bring the basic version of your startup, bring the basic version of your business to the life as fast as possible. Is it perfect?
Your voice breaking, sir.
Do someone have any question over here?
We couldn't hear you, sir.
From which particular part to which particular part?
That don't over plan. You have mentioned that like the 30% build it and avoid it, right?
Sure, sure, sure. Wait a sec,
From
wait a sec.
this, yes.
Okay. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Am I
Perfect, sir. Your
audible?
voice is yes, sir. Yes.
Am I audible right now?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay. I was telling you guys that do not over plan, right? Because over planning basically sometimes ruin the whole idea. It basically ruins the whole thing that you are going to do. So I would suggest go to the market as fast as possible. Take your basic idea with you. Take the basic functions of your app. Take the basic functions of your business. Take the basic functions of your services. Make them fast. Like keep try to take them to the market as fast as possible because time to the market is very important, right? Ma'am, is my voice audible right now? I'm new to the Microsoft Teams, so hello.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, I am audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir. Sir, you're audible, sir.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes.
Next is basically now you have started up, you have built your MVP, you have taken your idea to the market. The next phase is basically analysis. Analysis of your data. Analysis where like what my customers are asking, why my customers are not returning to my platform, why my customers are not referring me to other clients, why I'm getting less of the business, why my clients are hating me, why my clients are loving me, why they require my service more, right? So basically, analysis is very important for any of the idea. You should start A/B testing. A/B testing is simply this, that hey, we will be changing this to this and this to this. So basically, you will be having two versions for your clientele, and then you will be providing them a choice that hey, you want to choose this one or you want to choose this one. So let's say your 60% of client choose the version B and 40% of client choose the version A, and over the time the 40% of your clientele that have chosen the version A shifts to version B. So that means the client verdict is clear that they like version B more and version A less. So what should you do? You should put your version B live to all of your customers, right? So that is A/B testing basically, wherein you are testing two different models for the same set of clientele. So what it will tell you is that which particular thing that clients are liking more, which particular feature is there which the clients are liking more. Make sure that your customers, right, your clientele is having a A plus experience, because customer is God. The customer is going to give you the money, and experience is everything. So whatever experience your clientele is going to have, they are that is basically going to decide whether the clientele is going to stick with you or whether the clientele is going away from you, right? So let's take an example of Instagram. Instagram is very popular among the youth today, especially after the Reels feature, right? So if you go to the Reels, you start scrolling the Reel and you basically hook on the Reel for like 1 hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes. You basically keep yourself there because that particular feature is that much engaging. You are getting entertainment and you are getting entertainment over your mobile screen within your private space. You can browse reels whenever you are comfortable, whenever you need entertainment. So basically, they have built a feature which the people are liking, right? So you need to build things which the people like, which can keep people coming back to your application, which can keep people coming back to your particular services part. Okay, so what went right or wrong? You need to keep on analyzing that what is getting right and what is getting wrong. And last but not the least, you guys have probably gone through SWOT, right? The strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat study into your part of curriculum. So SWOT is very important. Make sure if you are having a website, do a SWOT analysis of that. If you are having a team member, do a SWOT analysis of that. Do a SWOT analysis of yourself, right? Where you are getting wrong, where you are getting right, and make sure that you keep on improvising yourself according to that. That is the basic goal. If you keep on improvising yourself, if you keep on improvising the idea, if you keep on improvising your services, if you keep on improvising your platform, that means that you are taking care of the future needs of your clientele, that they will keep on coming back to you, right? Anyone having any question at this point of time?
Yes, sir.
Anyone having any questions?
Anyone of you have any question? Everyone are clear with the analysis? Sir, as no one has responded, you can proceed, sir. I think everyone
Okay,
understood this.
sure.
Yes, sir.
So now you have basically searched for an idea, you have built a team, you have taken your idea to the market, you have refined your idea, right? Now what's next? Next is basically scaling up. So scaling up means that your startup was basically making a revenue of, let's say, 14 lakh rupees previous year. So now into your next year, you should go for growth. You should target that, hey, while we made 14 lakh rupees last year, we should go for at least 20 lakh rupees this year. So, right, so that is basically scaling up. That means your idea have now started making money. You just need to scale it up towards the greater revenue, towards the greater satisfaction, towards the greater team size. So while scaling up, it is very necessary that you grow your team, because team is what makes you a company. Team is what makes you a startup, like a startup, trustworthy enough. Team is what, because a founder can't do each and everything while the startup is scaling up. A founder has to do each and everything by their own while you are into a small phase, right? After, after transitioning to a scaling up phase, you just need to have people around you wherein you can pass on them the responsibilities. You pass them certain process, certain systems. They follow those processes, those particular systems, and they do work according to that. You basically need to build SOPs, standard operating procedures, into your team, wherein people will be following that, and then they will be doing the work according to that, right? You need to establish some set processes. So let's say, if let's say we are providing services, a client is there, a client is not happy with our services, right? And a client is demanding a refund from us, then what process we are going to follow? In how many days that particular refund should be processed to the client? What is the experience cycle the client is going to have? Like, what is the time that we are committing to the client, that hey, we will be processing your refund on this particular day, right? In similar fashion, let's say you got a new client on board, then what experience that particular client is having, what text will go as an email for onboarding that particular client, right? How you are going to onboard that particular client, what particular files, what particular processes, what particular documentation do you need from that particular client while boarding them to towards your services. While scaling up, focus on making recurring revenue. Make sure that any of your product, any of your services is such that you make recurring revenue, so that scaling up of your team does not becomes a burden onto your pocket or onto the company's pocket. It basically, your clientele is paying for your scaling up operation. So make sure this thing keeps on happening again and again. Last but not the least, while we grow up, we basically start neglecting the client servicing. We should never do that, because client is our God. We should focus more on client servicing. We should devote ourselves. As a CEO, it is my role and it is my responsibility to make sure that none of my clients suffers, right? So make sure that you are providing them a great service from the day one to day 100. Do not drop your service standards anywhere. Make sure of this. So now you have started a startup, you have built a team, you have started scaling up. What's next? So contribute to society. What I mean when I say contribute to society, while you are giving employment to the people, right? You are contributing to the society, because that particular employment is giving money to someone for their respective services. And that particular money is flowing into the society. That particular money is going to like different set of people into the society. You should start building programs wherein you start passing your knowledge to the younger generation. You should pass on your experience to the younger generation. You should take the learnings from the younger generation to you, because younger generation is having a vast amount of knowledge, a vast amount of new technological advancements to teach us, right? So basically, we should pass on our knowledge to the younger generation. We should make a connection with the younger folks, wherein we can exchange our ideas, where we can exchange our thinking, wherein we can exchange, hey, that this can be possible or that can be possible. The last but not the least, I would say is that building a startup is a tearing process. You face mental breakdowns, you face financial breakdowns, you face whatnot while building a startup. So once you have your company up and running, once you have team up and running, I would suggest to all future entrepreneurs that please focus on your personal health, because that is what is very important to you. That is your biggest asset, right? Apart from time, your personal health is your biggest asset. So do not neglect it. I have neglected it up till now, but I have plans wherein I will be focusing on my personal health going next. Okay. So that's it from my side. If you guys have any questions, you can ask me, or this is my email ID available. You can reach out to me on this particular email ID. So, ma'am, over to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yes,
Sure,
my
ma'am.
students, do you have any queries? Students, the session is open to you, students, for the question and answer. Do you have any queries? Students, if you have any queries, you can please raise your hands. I'll unmute you. Yes, Beretta, I have unmuted you. You can proceed, ma. Sai Teja. Tejashwini? Tejashwini, you can unmute, ma.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Hello.
Hello.
Tejashwini, yes, ma. We could hear
Uh,
you.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
Sir, can you kindly explain about the analysis which you shared in the before slides? Sir?
Tejaswini, your voice is having a little disturbance to it. So can you please?
Sir, can you
Sir, she's
explain
asking about the first slide, first four slides. Is it Tejashwini?
analysis, analysis, ma'am?
Please text, ma. Tejashwini, text your query in the
Yes,
chat
ma'am.
window. Meanwhile, others, if you have any queries, you can text your queries in the chat window, ma. Or else you please raise your hands.
Okay,
So
so we have got one
Tejashwini,
question from Tejaswini. Tejaswini is asking, can you explain me
startups.
about the analysis in the startups? So Tejaswini, I would suggest that different sort of startups have different analysis part. So basically, there are like you first basically define your revenue model, then you track the things those are important for your particular startup. So herein I would suggest let's take an example wherein a startup is basically freemium, right? So let's take an example of Facebook. Facebook is basically freemium. Tejaswini, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. So let's take an example of Facebook, right? So Facebook is basically a premium model. So in premium model, what particular metrics are important to us? That how many new users are signing up onto the particular platform, how many of those particular paid users are giving us the money, and how many companies are coming to us for the advertisement. So these particular things are like pretty important for Facebook to survive. So what I would suggest is you take your idea because each and every idea is different. Each and every idea have a different revenue model. So I would suggest that you first take your idea, you build your revenue model, and then you take the important metrics out of it, and then you start tracking those particular metrics. That how we are performing onto these particular metrics. And once you know your metrics, when you know that what particular data you are tracking, that particular part becomes your analysis of your day-to-day activities.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Is there any other query left onto this?
No,
Tejaswini,
sir.
hope you understood.
No, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you, sir.
there is another query from Krishna Prasad. So Krishna Prasad have asked that what exactly are we describing as the market? So Krishna, first of all, thanks for asking this particular question because most of the students might be having the same question in their mind. So market is something wherein you can take your idea. So suppose if I'm having an online platform, so all of the web is basically my market. All of my target audience is basically my market. Is basically my core customers, right? So a place or a platform wherein I can find my core customers, wherein I can find my core target clientele. So that particular thing is basically my market. Anyone having any other question? You can just type in and I will be replying to the same.
Yes, ma students. If you have any queries, you please just text a message, ma, in the chat window. Students. So hope no question, no queries.
Okay, okay. Sure, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So let me thank you for this, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable time, sir. You have spared your valuable time in spite of your busy schedule. You have accepted our request, sir.
Okay,
And
so
thank you so much for your
okay,
suggestions.
ma'am, wait a second. We do have a question over here.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, we have a
From
question.
HRD. So Rishi, you have asked about the MVP, right? So MVP is basically minimum viable product. What I would say is, so let's say okay, so do you have any specific idea in mind wherein I can explain you MVP, or do you want me to go generic? If you have any idea, please type it in. I will be explaining MVP in that perspective, or otherwise I will be explaining MVP in a generic way. Rishi, like, are you typing? Okay. In generic way, I would say that MVP is basically a minimalistic version of your broad idea. So as you all know that when Facebook started, right? It started as a simple application wherein people can come where basically people can come and they can rate the girls and boys over there on the basis of their looks, right? So basically, Facebook started in that particular way. Then they pivoted their model, wherein they basically go ahead and they say, ki, hey, we want to build a network for the colleges. Then we pivoted it further, wherein they said that each and everyone person on this earth can become a member of the Facebook. They can become like they can make friends. So basically, Facebook was not first a social media network. Social media network existed before Facebook existed, but Facebook have cracked a few things pretty well, and that's how Facebook worked. So basically, MVP is your minimal version of your particular idea or anything. Okay, let's take another example. Let's say Urban Clap is there, right? Urban Clap is right now providing more than, let's say, 60 plus of services, correct? And you start thinking in the same direction that, hey, I want to build a clone to the Urban Clap. So what would I suggest to you is that do not start providing 60 services in one go. Start with, let's say, one or two set of services. Make yourself good into those particular one or two services, and then start adding services into your bouquet. So what I'm suggesting you is that start with baby steps, and then keep on adding things to that particular idea, and then take it further. So I'm suggesting you is start with a small idea, keep on adding things. That is your MVP. Okay, so we do have another question from Chakradhar. Chakradhar is asking how feasible is digital marketing for a startup? Can we depend on it or cold calling? So, Chakradhar, what would I suggest you is cold calling is one of the most used method in our industry for